Welcome back to Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, and I'm joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment, and that's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio. Thanks for being here, Landon.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Back-to-back days for you, Landon. So we're talking airlines today. Delta Airlines kicking off earnings season along with JP Morgan tomorrow morning. It's got to be, sentiment and data that you guys have out of LikeFolio. It's got to be pretty positive. Airports are full. TSA numbers continue to move higher, but the prices of tickets are double and triple what they were 2 years ago pre-pandemic. What kind of data are you seeing on LikeFolio?
You're right. And you know what? Travel is coming back, and a lot of it is business travel. So we've kind of been waiting and waiting and waiting. Leisure travel led the way very early. Individuals and individual families are more likely to take risk than a company who's got to send, many people and consider all the pros and cons with COVID and whatnot. So leisure travel led the way, but now finally traveling for work is getting up there. You can see the 30-day moving average quarter over quarter change up 68%. So a big move when it comes to traveling for work. And that's actually the largest of all the things that we track when it comes to traveling. It's higher than just general traveling. It's definitely higher than international. It's even higher than leisure travel, so individuals taking travel. So that's a big positive. And as you guys know, Delta's big on the business travel. So Southwest for a long time had the early advantage with the return to travel because they focus so much more on individuals and leisure travel. And Delta is more in the business segment, and now they're finally getting their turn. So that's good news for them. The bad news, unfortunately, just like you talked about, the prices with fuel prices, labor shortages, all that, inflation, it is really high, and people are not happy about it. If you look at the happiness data across all of the airlines, you can see that it's taken a big hit. So Delta's down about 7 points, United's down about 5, Southwest, and American are down about 3 points. So they're all moving in the wrong direction when it comes to happiness. But the big three, Delta, Southwest, and United, are kind of all in the same general vicinity when it comes to happiness, with American way behind. They've really handled this last few years very poorly. A lot of bad press from them, kicking people off the planes and doing different things. So they're the laggard when it comes to happiness. They've all taken a hit, but they're the outlier, I guess you would say. United is kind of the surprise, right? They're the ones that I certainly didn't see coming. I've always thought of Delta as like the premium and Southwest as the top casual one. United's kind of finding its way right now and doing a really good job of increasing its number of mentions and increasing its number of purchase intent. They're the leader in this category, off to the right there. But Delta in about second place, first place in happiness. So of the four, you could kind of make an argument that it's United that's the strongest looking when it comes to movement in the right direction. But Delta is definitely the leader when it comes to recent headlines because of the data showing the travel to work is returning.
Yeah, Landon, from the Omicron variant to spiking fuel prices, I mean, this sector of the U.S. economy that was so destroyed during COVID just can't catch a break, right? The minute they think clear sailing ahead, they get walloped with rising gas prices. The question is, though, I see your data on business travel, and we knew some business travel would come back, and the percentages are big because, well, any percentage away from zero is a good percentage. The question I have about your data is it enough? Is the return in business travel enough to get them over the hump? Because international is going to suffer with everything going on between Russia and basically Europe. That's going to suffer. Is the recovery in business travel, Landon, enough to get them back over the hump?
Sure. So a little caveat here before I get into the data. Remember what we're looking at. We're looking at people talking about doing these things on social media. And I think there's a little bit of excitement around returning to business travel. People have been waiting for it for so long. So they may be talking about it more than they're doing it proportional to, years ago. That being said, if you look at international travel, it's down about 35% versus 2019. travel for work is actually up against 2019. Again, people talking about traveling for work. I don't think there's more people traveling for work than they were 3 years ago, but they're more excited about it. So I definitely think it's coming back. And when you compare that to international travel, you really get a clear picture of where people are, where the increase in travel mentions are coming. But even if you look at the TSA checkpoint data, we're still 10 to 15% below 2019 levels. So we're not there yet. Again, that's across all categories. So we're not there yet. But just like I talked about, Delta's the last one to benefit from a return to normal. Southwest was the first. And so now, since Delta is so heavily reliant on business travel, finally we're getting to that point. I'm looking forward to it myself. I've already made some trips. I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to the more normal schedule. And I think every shareholder of Delta will be as well.
When you look at this data, it's not surprising, purchase intent versus sentiment, that American, because that's the airline I typically fly, is all the way at the bottom. But I haven't been on a Delta flight in a while. Is that making changes as far as consumer sentiment goes and where they're going to book based on what airline they like more? Or is it just there's such low capacity right now, Landon, that you're basically just taking a flight anywhere you can if there's one available, and you're going to pay less, right? Is that the way consumers are looking at it, or they're still staying with those preferences?
I think that generally speaking, people have the preference, but that's what it is. It used to be a priority, and now it's a preference. If you can get A to B, you really don't care how you get there. But you're going to get a very upset consumer base if you're charging way more than you used to, and almost all of them are. And or if you're canceling or having long delays, which a lot of these are having problems with. That's always been the reason that Spirit Airlines is always the lowest of the happiness group, is because there's so many cancellations and delays. So really for people, I think the priority is A to B, just get me there. And of course, then all the other things add up. If that's all running smoothly, then it's seat comfort and how nice the flight attendants are and all that kind of stuff. But you're absolutely right. All that is a second priority when it comes to just getting me there. And the data is showing that Americans really been struggling with that, with cancellations, delays, and just general happiness, whereas the others have had a pullback because of high prices and some issues with cancellations and availability, but nowhere near what Americans had.
Now, Landon, going into this report, what number do you guys have as far as an earnings score for Delta going into this report?
Sure. So across all four airlines, we're negative on all four.
Yeah.
Delta's kind of right in the middle of the four at negative 16. So that's in the almost bearish, but not quite category. But just again, based on that business data, the business flight data, I would hedge that a little bit and maybe shade it more towards zero and just say we're neutral on Delta. But, their first one's coming in. So this is going to be a big report for all the others just to see how this sector is going to do this season.
Yeah, and CarMax that you guys brought to us yesterday down 7%, and that's about the same level as far as going into earnings that you guys are on Delta, so pretty negative here at this point. And Landon, you've got to be in business class every time. You can't fit in a coach seat, right?
You know what? There's tricks. I do try to get on first class, but there's a trick on Delta. If you get the front row of the Comfort Plus right behind first class, it's like 6 feet of legroom. You can't touch the seat in front of you. So that's my tip if you're flying on Delta. Front row of Comfort Plus is the hidden secret.
Same thing on premium economy for American. All right, Landon, thanks for all the data on Delta. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, that's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio, bringing us the data on Delta. Kevin, he's